Welcome, 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 friends. OG Murphy here with you. We are ready to run some Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It is a homebrew setting and a little bit of a homebrew rule set, so bear with us if you are a letter of the law kind of player, a by-the-book player. This campaign might bother you. Other things that might bother you. The other players are not on screen. There are 4 of them playing 6 characters because we have 2 players out. The homebrew setting is not 100% within the lore, obviously, of the primary sources. And nobody's particularly politically correct. This is kind of a, like backyard baseball. This is like a backyard D&D game, tabletop RPG game. Nobody's being politically correct, so hopefully no offense is taken because none is intended. And with that, we are going to start off with a section we call Thoughts and Feelings. It is kind of like a recap, except the players are talking about how their characters feel about where they're at, what they're thinking about, what their motivations are, what is most important to them right then and there in that moment. So let's get to it. Let's meet our players, meet our characters. I am live. Hey, guys.
Hi, Live.
Hi, Live. Most weeks. Not every week, but most weeks. There's only 4 of you, so I get to roll a d4 today instead of a d6. That is kind of wild. But we're going to start off with some thoughts and feelings. 1, 2, 3. Joe, you get to start us off. Tell us how Reed the Paladin is feeling about where you guys are at. Super, super brief recap is you guys have just been teleported via your wizard contact who had the roof of his wizard's tower ripped off by a dragon, essentially. Turned into a dragon himself and begun combat in the city that you guys led an army of kobolds to that are now being supported by dragons, it seems. He teleported you somewhere else. You're not sure where. How's Reed feeling?
Reed is definitely what the fuck is going on right now? We were given this mission by this, what we assumed was this, wise ancient wizard, Kade, and then it turns out that Kade is maybe not an actual wizard. He's a dragon now, and he's responsible for the armor pieces that we created. There's all kinds of crazy shit going on. We know that we are being hunted now, basically by dragons. Not, looking from afar, but they are actively looking for us. I have no idea where we're at, and we're gonna figure it out. Because at least it's not the Great Below.
That is true. At least it's not the Great Below. Spoken like somebody who just got out of the Great Below. Who is next, my friend?
Go ahead, Galfast.
Galfast!
Yeah, Galfast, Galfast, he works one day at a time. So yesterday he was in the Great Below, and then he spent half a day watching a city and forest burn down. And now things aren't so bad, right? Where he doesn't know where he is. We were probably teleported. Hopefully, Galfast is hoping to a city. He can make connections. We can replenish some stuff, and we have a short list of some armor to buy. How hard could that be?
How hard could that be? Who's next, friend?
I will pick.
It's Anthony or Soto.
Simone.
Simone has felt kind of he's kind of in shock right now, you could say, mainly because he feels like he's kind of sensed the Great Below. It's almost like a trauma response where he's reclused back into himself. And he's been very quiet and not very super outspoken about things, and kind of letting the party take the lead in that sense. And so because of that, a whirlwind of information is basically slapped him across the face, and he is trying to deal with that. And also try not to make the most evil decisions that apparently release all this stuff and cause all these problems, while also trying to stay alive at the same time.
Yeah. Well, and that's the true nature of good and evil, right? Those are just words. It's really it's all about priorities, right? And Simone, I hear you. Simone is struggling with he feels like he's just been trying to survive, but like the consequences of his actions are just like wreaking havoc. His actions, the party's actions, are like wreaking havoc, and so I can see him kind of struggling with that. Like well, shit, I'm just trying to make it out of here, and shit is happening. Yeah, I do love
and
that.
it's just constant, and feels like every decision we make has just made things worse. It's like, yeah, we've been able to get out of the Great Below. Yeah, we were, we discovered a lot of information down there, but ultimately just trying to leave the place, we, apparently released a god that is gonna be a big deal later, but not right now.
Kade the Wizard. We'll put a pin in that. That's crazy,
yeah.
but we got time on that one. There's an army right now, so yeah.
Yeah, and apparently Kade being Parthenax or whatever is also an interesting the idea too. So that's something that Simone's wrestling with, and apparently there are good dragons. So.
Right, which like allegedly there were, and you've seen like tapestries and pictures and things that depict this. But yeah, for the first time now, you guys have like presumably met a good dragon. So
yeah.
Let's go beans. Kaithar.
So that meant anybody could be a dragon. Sorry.
Anybody could be a dragon. Kaithar, you're the last one, my friend.
Kaithar is stupidly excited. Thank you, buddy. Stupidly excited to kill another dragon.
Cool. Yeah, I love that for him. So, as we kind of have touched on, you guys have been thrust through this portal, which you have gone through before. Kade has moved you from Edgetown to Port Sakis via this, via his front door, where you walk in at one place and walk out in another. It is not a comfortable process to be teleported, but it was more stable, right? Like this last one was very haphazard. Those of you who practice magic know that like this is kind of like the magical version of improv. Like he did not necessarily have this planned. There was like a dial near the door that has different, like icons on it, and a new one like appeared in a very small pie wedge of this, of this dial. And it moved to that position as the door was flung open, and the pressure differential essentially pulled you guys through, but not before seeing Kade turn into a dragon, not before seeing Kade wrap himself in combat with another dragon, and just like seeing a general scene of destruction through the literal like cracks in the walls and roof, the ceiling of this place. And so you guys have all been thrust into this place. As you look around you, this place is incredibly like dusty and disused. There has not been like no single object in here has been moved for long enough that there is a like, visible layer of dust on every single surface. There is kind of a workshop zone. There are like a few, not anything like Kade's tower is. There are just like a few kind of like regular people might have in their house, like 3-shelf bookshelves that have, miscellaneous and assorted books on it. In the corner, there is a large, like glass smooth, like forge that is there. But it has obviously, also not been used in however long. There are like like banners, from like ancient, civilizations and battles long past, still like speckled with the, now brown remains of spattered blood and dirt and mud from being like dragged through here. There are bobs and bits and jars and all the different kinds of things that you might expect to see in this place. And then up above the workshop is a large like piece of parchment that is unfolded and has a bunch of like etchings on it of different like equipment. So as you guys are here, you can hear outside that there is no more the sound of battle. You know, there you do hear the sounds of like carts rolling by periodically, someone who might be like a town crier, you know, the mumbled voice of one off in the distance, the occasional, you know, squeal of a pig or caw of a bird of some kind. But you guys are all in this pretty modest, small space with these sounds going on around you and all of this kind of stuff in this one room, like studio workshop. After being thrust through this portal, after getting info dumped a bunch of new stuff. So, what are we doing? How are we feeling, guys? What would we like to do?
Yeah.
Well, you said there's the half-folded piece of parchment with
No,
some.
it's unfurled. It's unfurled, totally open, and there's like etchings of different pieces of equipment on it.
I'm gonna pick that up and take a look at that.
Yeah, you pick this up and literally blow the dust off of it. And the first thing that catches your eye is the shield that you are carrying is like front and center on this thing. You recognize the helmet in the piece of this as the one that Kythar is still wearing on his head because he put it on for some reason while you guys were in Kade's place.
Yeah.
I can't remember why.
We thought we were about
see
to fight.
the, like,
they thought
yeah.
they were about to knock down the door.
Yeah,
Right?
something like that. But you can identify like two of those pieces are on here. In addition, there is like an armor set, and there is a long sword as well, which there are like plans for basically on here.
So, is the sword the last one we're looking for? And I'm gonna point to it on the piece of paper for everybody.
Yeah, this looks like Cade's old workshop. Maybe there's something valuable in here.
Why don't you take a look around? Are there like any manuals on these pieces of armor around?
Manuals. You are looking at the thing that is the manual on the pieces of armor.
Great.
That is what you have in your hand.
Do I see anything about how the helmet or the shield work that I wouldn't have already known?
Go ahead. Do you speak Draconic?
I did at one point.
Do you currently speak Draconic?
I don't think so.
Then it is indecipherable, my friend.
Do any of you guys speak Draconic?
Can you give me
I
access to Tyler's?
Yeah, you got it. I'll
shoot,
open him
man.
up.
Kythar can speak Draconic, but he can't read.
Well, then it's gibberish to Kythar as well.
HS is gonna be
Kythar.
like, I can,
Oh.
but you know this forge over here it's kind of piquing my interest.
Could you tell me what this is first?
I mean, I could.
No,
My academic training, has allowed my, breadth of knowledge to understand Draconic. But
So
this-
it shouldn't be a problem for
it,
me.
it's no problem at all.
If you're out of your comfort zone, it's
Yeah.
fine.
It's,
Remember him
I'm,
being
I'm-
so pretentious.
I understand if it's too difficult for you.
You could say I'm well within my comfort zone, but thank you for being so concerned about it. Actually, I think that shows that we're growing as a party, and I think that shows trust. And these are things that these books that I read say are good.
Anthony's already exceeded max words for Tyler.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, but I can read that, but that's kind of
Thank you.
boring. This forge over here though is interesting. I feel like a magical presence coming from it.
That might be because it's magic. I mean, it's Cade's.
And how do you know this?
Well,
What academic studies have you done in the past to identify these things?
I just know Cade.
You just know Kade. Did you know he was a dragon?
I guess. Sort of.
In all fairness, Joe did guess about 5 minutes before he
Yeah.
revealed himself.
And so
Come in.
A-Test, I'm assuming. Does he have Spark? I just don't know. I can't see his character sheet yet.
He probably has Spark. Let me see here. You can't see. I opened up his ownership. You should be
Oh,
able
there
to.
we go.
Yeah.
Now I can see it. I had to close and reopen it.
Got you.
He has Ignition.
He has Ignition, which I think is new Spark.
Remix to Ignition. Hot and fresh out the kitchen. He's going to cast Ignition on the Forge.
He casts Ignition on the Forge, and all the dust which had settled on the inside, like, immediately burns up, revealing the, like, jet black, kind of like opal sheen of this, almost like obsidian forge that is, that exists here, but it does not stay lit. It does, I will say this, looks like, it just, like, from a glance, this thing has seen, like, it's super crazy intense levels of heat.
Mm-hmm.
And like an ignition spell is nowhere near the strength of, you know, the glassification effect that it's had on the rest of it. Like, you're gonna need way more juice.
Maybe you just
Reed, you see a fireball start to form in A-Test's hand.
whoa,
Wait.
hang on.
It needs more heat.
No,
Hold on.
Yeah.
no.
I have an idea.
Why don't we maybe use the helmet that spews dragon fire? And even then, I guess I'm not sure about that.
Well, I just wanted to turn it on. And put your shield in it. I mean, wouldn't that
I
be
thought it was
kinda cool?
acid that the helmet spit out.
The helmet has a breath weapon, which so far has been acid. No, I think you did fire once. You can do fire.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing fire once. What did you do?
Like I said, when I updated my character sheet, that all that information got.
No, that's that's fine.
Your mic changed, so you know.
Mhm.
It sounds like you're talking through a wired headset. Anyway, he's HS back. Oh, okay. Let me see your paper.
He hands this over to you, and even though you can read the Draconic on it, these are still, like, technically minded plans, right? Like, this is, like, an engineer would probably have a better chance looking at this thing. If you want to do any deciphering, I will need a crafting check.
Gotcha. Sure.
Nice. You are staring at this and realizing a couple of things at once. Like, looking at this piece of paper, and then, like, looking at the forge that you were trying to ignite, it becomes, immediately obvious to you why you could not ignite the forge, because these items call to be forged in Dragonfire. So, like, you would literally, like, it literally calls to have a dragon sitting here breathing fire in the forge while this shit is being made. And it is not something that is going to be, at the very least, easily replicable. Like, theoretically possible, but not something that, like, as soon as you look at this, you're like, yeah, Fireball wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? You can also see that they are designed in such a way to where these items become more powerful the more like damage they absorb and or deal, depending on what they're, like, good at. And that, like, as they're intended to work, right, is like you're looking at the shield specifically, and it calls for that it will kind of, like, defend you from Dragon's Breath. Not only that, it will straight up like give you damage resistance for that flavor of Dragon's Breath for as long as you're wearing it. And the helmet like works very much the same way. Like if you've either dealt damage to or taken damage from, you know, a dragon that does one of these things, it can like create these different effects. You're fortunately able to see that the items, like you guys have been kind of, Reed has had the shield and the helmet, you guys have kind of been like floating around, but they're designed to work in tandem with another, right? Like they are designed to make one person nearly invincible while wielding all pieces simultaneously. And that like from a game standpoint, right, like that damage resistance stacks and becomes more effective the more pieces of armor a single person is wearing. To date, I don't think you guys have had. Joe put it on for a second, but only, you know, in the presence of the god, and that was kind of like coloring his experience in that moment. I don't think you guys have ever had
No,
both of
not
those
one
things.
person has had everything. No.
Has had this stuff yet. But you're looking at it and like you're looking at this, or a test rather is looking at these charts and realizing that they're like designed to work together. They were forged in Dragonfire. They're designed to work together and are most effective when you combine all the pieces, two of which you have, two of which you don't. You got the two things on this piece of paper that you guys don't have is like the breastplate, like the armor, and then the weapon are the like two pieces that you guys have not yet acquired.
Gotcha. You said the breastplate and the what was the last one?
And the
Sorry?
weapon, the longsword.
Gotcha.
So no Gree is with this, huh?
And we have to
It's
attune
all
to it as
lumped, it's all
well,
lumped
right?
together. You know, it's one of those things from a narrative standpoint. Like I could make it, you know, Curicus, Greaves, Boots, Gauntlets, and then you guys are playing for another 7 years looking for all the rest of these pieces. You know what I mean? So.
So Ates is gonna look at it and be like, "Oh," but just stay quiet.
What do you mean? Oh,
What does it say,
Oh.
wizard?
Oh, nothing.
What does it
And
say?
then he's gonna continue reading it, and then he's gonna be like, "Oh."
what do you mean? Oh,
Huh? Oh, are you referring to what I'm reading?
no.
I'll smack him back in the head and say yes.
Hey, that doesn't make me want to share this information with you when you.
You're the only one who can read this. Tell us, fucker.
Can somebody control him?
I'm gonna intimidate.
No, he's Reed.
Things are getting heated between Atesk and Kythar. How are the rest of you guys reacting?
All right. Maybe this
All right.
I said not ladies.
Yeah.
Off the rails already. Let's go.
I know, and time.
I know.
Yes. Could you please
New personal
tell us
record.
what you learned? Because none of us are smart enough to understand it without your explanation.
Oh, I think you guys could figure it out if you read it, but
Fucker.
yeah. So essentially, what I'm seeing here is that we still got like 2 more pieces that we have to find. Apparently, a breastplate, which also comes with the leg parts of armor. I don't know. I wear robes, and a longsword. Oh, and there's another side of this too, as well.
And what's that side?
Go on.
Just the most aloof.
I know.
I feel like I'm doing really well impersonation. Okay.
Other than saying too many words, but yes, spot on.
Saying a lot of words, but not really saying a lot.
If Donald Trump was a wizard.
I know. He's getting the same amount of point across, just with more words.
It's the armor itself would be better if it was worn by one person. And there's also something else.
I'm gonna say, well, on that point, you know, I volunteer. So what's the last?
Sure. Here, why don't you carry this giant shield that's taller than you are?
You see me pathetically attempt.
I've been told
You're like peeking over the edge of it all.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a ranger. I'm not very strong, so I'm like, oh wow. Okay, thank you. This is mine now.
Yeah, and so okay, so as you hold that shield, Galfast, I guess, and he's gonna like flip the paper around, you know,
Like rotate it 90 degrees.
He's gonna be like, you know, when you get attacked by like dragons, it it protects you from that specific type of dragon fire. You know, your whole armor kind of adapts to what specific dragon you're fighting.
The whole armor set?
Well, the pieces themselves do. It looks like. I
What
don't
if
know
you're
what the whole set does. I'm assuming the same, but yes.
Well, let's.
And that's it. That's all I got.
We could make this work. What if we all learned fusion? We became the same person and wore the armor set. We'd be unstoppable.
Have you guys read a book called The Human Centipede?
The human centipede.
I can't read.
See, and I was going to make
It's
a
a-
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm
Crystal Realms
Reed.
fusion, so that's...
Simon's gonna be like, I did, and I'm down for it as long as I'm in the front, fool.
I just
Nah,
don't
nah,
want
nah.
to be the caboose.
Nah. The nastiest way to say, nah.
Oh, funny.
And so I think the person who wears the heaviest armor should probably have all the pieces. And somebody's gonna be like, yeah, fool, it should be fucking this puto Reed.
You see me still trying to like lift the shield. I cannot make a budge. It's like when SpongeBob put on the muscle arms.
I'm gonna take it back from him.
It's like Thor trying to pick up the hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Kythar, I'm not gonna make you give away the helmet, but if you want to, it's up to you, man.
I will, fool, give it back.
No, I want his helmet.
My helmet?
Yes.
Okay, I'll trade you.
Okay.
Kydar doesn't care. He just wants it to be fair. He's like, I'm not giving it away. I'll trade it for your helmet.
I'm gonna whisper to a task and say that was a bad trade.
Hang on. Let me find some like Chat GPT AI artwork of what my helmet looks like.
This old beat to hell helmet you're giving him.
But the unicorn is a fucking penis. I'm gonna be pissed.
You know, ask and you shall receive.
I can't wait. To see
Unicorn
that.
penis helmet. Imagine.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Tess is gonna be like, I think he doesn't understand what the art of the deal.
Or does Trump? But Trump still thinks he knows about it.
You're supposed to ask for the best price first.
I can't even find my notes on Reed anymore.
Simone's gonna be like, that's a terrible deal, fool. You always ask for the second offer first.
But yeah, I'll absolutely give you my helmet, Soto.
Cool. You guys helmet swap.
I put the helmet on. Does anything happen?
You put the helmet on. A couple of things. One is that the eyes physically react in the same way that Kade's eyes reacted when he was holding the helmet. I don't know if you guys remember, he had like an opalescent shimmer, not an opalescent shimmer,
yeah.
You know, and his eyes went not milky but shiny, I guess, and like there was a whole thing. So because the mask goes over your eyes, so your eyes do the same thing. Kicker is that this thing still, you're looking around Cade's workshop when it was a workshop, right? Like you're looking around and things are like bright and shiny and new, and you can actually see like like a shimmer, like a memory of Kade, like standing in front of the fire, blowing this breath into the forge and like keeping it going. You can see like molten metal moving around in there, and all these like arcane sparks. The entire forge is glowing as well, and not just from like the embers. Yeah, so I mean, like but it's still inside, right? So you're seeing all the same stuff, but I mean, you feel stronger. Like you feel like you would be harder to hit. It's all kind of situational, but like like you definitely, I would say at this point, having experienced your sword as a magic item, you've been carrying the shield as a magic item. Like you are beginning to be able to attune with this stuff better, well enough to know like as soon as you put this on, that it's like synergizing, and you're like, oh yeah, shit's happening now.
I can see. I can fight. Sorry, if I can ask one more thing. I look at the shield. Do I see anything new on the shield in the writing or anything like that? When I'm looking through the eyes of the helmet.
You look at the shield, which has an inscription, which you know and can read.
His name.
Are you telling yourself that? Or?
I am looking for what the shield of prophecy says. I don't remember off the top of my head, but we will, because I think it. Let me look something up real quick. Maybe stuff happens. If you have what the shield of prophecy says, or anybody does, I will grant you a hero point on the spot if you can send that to me.
I mean, let me go get my iPad.
You gotta beat me.
It's out on hero points anyway. What am I freaking out for?
I don't know. I don't want to slow the game down on it. Nothing's substantial. I think that's going to have an impact on this moment right now.
All right. Cool.
Okay, so like, are we fucking done in here, fool? Like, I don't know about you guys. I'm not.
Galfast, you had mentioned wanting to like poke around in a general sense. Then we kind of moved on to other stuff. Are you kind of doing that in the background as people are talking and looking at things?
Yeah, Galfast would have done just a quick look around. If anything that would be of value, even
I thought I would have
today.
joined him, maybe for potions, or food, or drinks, alcohol.
There's definitely alcohol. So we'll do
Dips.
that. Let's see here. What are we gonna do for your loot check?
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
Just give me flat d20s, both of you guys. Go back old school. Just do some die rolling here. Okay, Kythar, and you're going to want to, you guys, I do not have the items to give to your characters. You guys are going to want to go to the encyclopedia compendium packs and like find them to fucking add them yourself. You find Bravo's Brew. It is the moderate version of Bravo's Brew. It is like a specific kind of alcohol that has a like effect. You find a like small keg of it, which equates to like 10 or 20, like drinks right out of it.
So out of the quantities, is 10 or 20?
Yeah, between 10,
It's gotta
between
have
20,
15.
you got to eyeball it. You don't know exactly how full it is, kind of thing. But it's not like it's a single mug worth of stuff. You know what I mean? Like you could, in theory, because it's got an effect, you could, in theory, if you were to save it and use it for the effect, you could do that. 10 times, 12 times, 14 times, 16 times. Of course, if you want to just drink it, then you can just drink it. You guys kind of together are able to find. There's a bag of holding just laying around in this place. You guys are also able to find,
Which is also called, for bag of holdings, called spacious pouch.
Spacious pouch.
A reminder.
Yeah, there you go.
Just a reminder for people. I already got one, so I was like, you can have this. I already got one.
You're so generous.
And then Galfast, what you find are a few like little miniatures, like little carved, almost like jeweled figurines. And the kind of ornate nature of them is what catches your eye initially. But as you kind of look at them, they are in a completely different style, but they like remind you of, they are vaguely reminiscent of like the bat icon and the like, you know, other little stuff that you guys have found down there. Like one of them is a bird, and that's one of the things that really, you know, draws your attention to it. There's this little like, you know, bird token, as well as, let me see here, as well as this little like chest, basically this like little mini chest that's there. And you kind of like pick them up and they hum in your hand in a way that like is definitely definitively magical.
You cut out for a second there at the end, David. I don't know if you cut out for anyone else.
Yeah, it cut out for me too.
Out for me too.
Oh, did I hear stone?
Okay. I lost my headphones basically, so I'm back. I found them. They were on my head. Go figure. They were on my head. Go figure. Yeah. The only problem is that I can still hear you guys, but you guys aren't coming through on stream anymore, which is why I've been trying to do it wireless, because then everything like works correctly. I have not figured out how to get. It's probably in my computer settings. Give me a second on the game. I'm gonna mute this stuff. Oh, I guess you guys can hear me. You just can't hear them. So we were having technical issues. We're going to finish our session via other means. Unfortunately, those are not means that I have access to. It's just going to be kind of a dead end on the stream tonight. I'll get tech issues sorted out, and we'll get back to it next week. See you guys then.